So right now we're trying to expand our beer garden next door. I think during the pandemic, we all started thinking about our outdoor space differently. And it kind of brought to mind going to Germany and Belgium, especially in Germany, experiencing the beer garden atmosphere and culture, which is just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like having a leader or hanging out with friends underneath trees in the shade and listening to music, or just basically being able to experience the beer, be able to converse over the beer and not have to think about it as much. Cool. Well, it can be kind of out there and esoteric for people.
It's supposed to be though. Introduce yourself real quick and then we'll get started with the questions.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Shawn Bainbridge. I'm one of the co-founders of Halfway Crooks Beer here in Atlanta, Georgia. My partner and I, his name's Joran van Ginderachter, my business partner, me and him were roommates. We lived together in Atlanta starting around 2014 or 2015. He had moved over from Belgium to help start a brewery called Three Taverns. At the time I was president of a homebrew club, and I had been for many years, and also was a computer engineer. I was homebrewing in the basement quite a probably like an illegal amount of beer. And me and Joran started talking about, starting our own thing. And it just so happened that laws in Georgia started to allow direct-to-consumer sales in the tasting room, and we always wanted to open a bar that felt really cozy and had a European vibe, much like the bars in Belgium. And we wanted to center it around community, and that's kind of what led to Halfway Crooks Beer. Our focus was going to be on mixed fermentation beer, which is more of an art form rather than a science, and lager, which is also very technical, and it comes right down to the science of making beer. So these two things were kind of opposites of each other, and Joran grew up on a sheep farm, so the shepherd's crook is a symbol of kind of herding the sheep and kind of guiding it into something. So it felt like, making lager is very technical, very hands-on, and mixed fermentation beer, which is kind of takes into account of the art of blending, much like a winemaker. We felt like we were halfway controlling something, so that's where Halfway Crooks came from. And it's also a Mobb Deep reference. In December 2019, we bought a canning line. We always wanted to have our beer in package, in cans, for people to take home and enjoy. Of course, the pandemic happened. It proved to be quite challenging, but when we were so small, we were able to kind of move all of our beer to package, versus a lot of larger breweries had a lot of their kegs out in the market, and those just kind of sat empty, and keg sales basically fell flat. We still sell quite a bit out of our tap room, but we also distribute beer now to a handful of bars in the Atlanta area. And there's also a couple bars in Savannah and Columbus, a couple bars outside the perimeter. It's not widely distributed, but we are going to open up the market a little more. We're actually, for the first time, going to start selling cans in the market, which is really exciting for us.
The influences that go into Halfway Crooks may not seem compatible with a typical brewery. What advice would you give to a person with disparate tastes trying to synthesize that dream?
Starting a brewery is really tough. Yeah, just any kind of like small business, especially these days, and capital is harder to come by, I think, especially given the current market. I feel that really guides us here is trying to be authentic to kind of who we are. We didn't really go out and just like pick a concept and just apply it. We weren't like, hey, let's be steampunk brewery and let's make all this stuff up and basically just be something that we're not. Joran and I drew from kind of our backgrounds and what we cared about, and that kind of informed our branding approach. And we felt it was really important to have a really good branding partner and family brothers. They've really helped guide us on that journey as well, to basically tell people who we are cohesively. I think that's very important to any kind of startup, whether it be brewery or otherwise. But especially in today's market where there's about 9,000 breweries in the country, I would say you really need to do your best to stand out and make really, really good product. One of the main pieces of apparel that we sell is our lager hat. It's all over the world, really taken off and become kind of a thing of its own. There's no Halfway Crooks branding on that hat. I think it was really important for us to just let it be its own thing and kind of celebrate the love of lager. And it says lager 4 times on the hat. Danger Press has also made us sweatshirts that have the same design. And that was born from a conversation we were having with brothers based on the song Born Slippy by Underworld. It's just a really great song based out of Europe. It says lager 4 times in there, and that's the reference. Our merch and our apparel are very important to us. It allows us to kind of express ourselves through branding of a shirt, and people, I think, connect connect with apparel in a much different way than they do with maybe a beer. It allows them to kind of say, hey, I really like this brand and I like the cool things they're doing. Integrating the sheep farm into a lot of our graphics. The most popular shirt is our foam sheep shirt. Here at Halfway Crooks, we really celebrate foam. It's visually appealing, and it also adds to how you basically experience the beer and kind of smell all its different aromas, and it also protects the beer as it goes down. And there's nothing better than seeing an empty glass full of lacing. And so we wanted to celebrate that, and also Joran's origin sheep farm. So the foam is like overflow coming out of the beer, and it becomes the sheep's wool. And I think that kind of says everything about our brewery. I think things in the past were much more tactile, like a keyboard. You pressed it and you could hear a click, or you had analog electronics that just had this warmth and feel about them. They're much larger as well, and they weren't strapped to you at all times. So there was a little bit of balance there. I think now we're just basically always hunched over on our phones having neck problems. I think paying homage to a lot of the beautiful design and engineering that got us there, along with the really cool branding of the past, really kind of helps bring that nostalgia through the brand. I think there's nothing better than nostalgia.
And then one bonus question just for me.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer or Harrison Ford, and why?
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harrison Ford's the greatest actor of all time.
Awesome.
Yeah.